The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Those memes you traffic in, Amy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
I see you posting on X and
yeah,
sharing with your friends.
I'm the meme queen, really.
Mm-hmm. They're killing the planet.
How is this hurting the environment, Dan?
Ian Hodgkinson is a professor of strategy at Loughborough University across the pond. Perhaps be better, more aptly named Lowbrow University. He's been studying the climate impact of dark data. I really started a couple years ago, says the good professor. I was trying to understand the negative environmental impact that digital data might have. And at the top of it might be quite an easy question to answer, but it turns out actually it's a whole lot more complex. But absolutely, data does have a negative environmental impact. 68% of data used by companies is never used again. And if we think, and he says, if we think about individuals and society more broadly, what we found is that many still assume that data is carbon neutral. But every piece of data, every meme you send, Amy, every piece of data, whether it be an image, whether it be an Instagram post, whatever it is, there's a carbon footprint attached to it. So when we're storing things in the cloud, we think about the white fluffy cloud. But the reality is these data centers are incredibly hot, incredibly noisy, and they consume a large amount of energy. Let me provide a little bit more color on cloud storage if you don't know what that is. And, of course, I turn our attention to tech guru Kamala Harris, the vice president.
So you're now no longer are you necessarily keeping those private files in some file cabinet that's locked in the basement of the house. It's on your laptop, and it's then therefore up here in this cloud that exists above us, right? Mm-hmm. It's no longer in a physical place.
That's not exactly right. But, deep thinkers.
Deep thinking there.
The one picture, going back to the professor, one picture isn't going to make a drastic impact. But, of course, if you maybe go into your own phone and you look at all the legacy pictures that you have cumulatively, that creates quite a big impression in terms of energy consumption. So I'll tell you, it's sort of interesting. I almost want to get on board with this just because now you could tell all of these keyboard warriors on social media that they're killing the planet, and the thing they can do to save the planet is shut down all their social media accounts.
That would be nice.
That's what Professor Hodgkinson tells us. For more on eco-supremacy in the presidential race, Steve Moore, a noted economist, author of Govzilla. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, guys. Dan, did you make up? Is that a real quote from Kamala about the cloud?
That's not AI. That's her. That's her explaining cloud storage.
That's classic Kamala. It's a cloud, and it's up there.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's
you don't file. You don't exceed. I don't know if you. I didn't know this until Kamala. We don't file files in like folders in filing cabinets in our basement anymore. We have these things called computers. And then the internet came, and then Princess Di started.
That started the whole problem because they used so much energy.
The dinosaurs died, and they turned into oil. Yeah, right.
So I have a couple of responses to this. One is that it is absolutely true that as we move further and further into the digital age, these technologies use more and more energy. Absolutely, studies are correct on that. In fact, artificial intelligence is going to use like 5 times more energy than the internet did. So we are going to need. In fact, I'm an investor in data centers because we're going to need massive numbers of new data centers which collect and gather all this information in a quote cloud up in the air.
Well, that's why Steve, today I am calling for us to be meme free by 2030 in order to save the planet.
I like it. I mean, I think you have to take that to the Sierra Club.
Yeah, absolutely.
See if they'll sign on to that.
I'm going to roll it out at the DNC next week. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. No, that's a great idea. I like the way you think. Now, here's the thing. There was just a study out that shows that this was the World Bank, and they've got some crappy information they put up, but this is pretty accurate. That there are still here we are in the year 2024, and there's still 1 billion people on the earth that still do not have access to reliable electricity. Now that is a health and welfare nightmare. I mean, this is the year this isn't 1924. This is 2024. And so what's happening? I want people to realize how sinister this climate change fanaticism is, because it's deadly. It's killing people. So that what they're doing, all these foreign aid groups are going into these African villages that literally don't have electricity and telling them, build windmills. Don't use coal plants. Use windmills and solar panels and And so you've got a deprivation of energy in these countries. They can't develop without this. People will die if they don't have access to electricity. They cannot get out of poverty if they don't have electric power. And it's so outrageous that these rich liberals in countries like the United States are telling these poor people in Asia and Africa, you can't have electricity because you're going to destroy the planet. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's outrageous.
Maybe they don't want electricity.
Oh, I think they want I think they want power. Of course, everybody does, because it improves your quality of life.
Of course it does. Electricity is the single greatest invention, arguably, in the history of civilization. And so here's how backward the left is. They're trying to deprive people of electric power. That is, I remember we had a blackout that lasted about 3 days in Northern Virginia, and it was like, oh my God, we can't possibly succeed with this kind of situation, where my kids were literally climbing on the wall. So electric power is absolutely necessary, and everyone should have access to clean water and electricity. And these climate change idiots are going around saying the biggest problem is the temperature of the Earth is going to go up by 0.1 degree in the next 30 years. And I mean, it's so distant from the realities of what people are facing right now. But I also saw a report, Dan and Amy, I thought this was interesting. Did you know income inequality causes climate change?
Oh, really? How?
Yeah, well, I couldn't quite understand the logic of it, but it's a very scientific study, so it must be true.
Okay.
It was published. Yeah, so if you tax the rich, you will get less climate change. Wow. Did you know that?
No, but I take it on faith, which is how you're supposed to take those things. I like this idea. I don't know if you saw this, Mr. Moore, but Harriet Hageman, she's the congresswoman who defeated Liz Cheney. She's proposed this for these eco supremacists.
What?
She gave a talk in Jackson, which is lovely, because she's in Wyoming. Mm-hmm. She proposed a demonstration project. Let's put it to the test. Let's put the eco supremacists to the test for Boulder, Colorado, which is a way left Bolshevik town, wealthy. Pilot project that would strip Boulder, Colorado of all of its fossil fuel infrastructure to be replaced with windmills, solar panels on the city's open space. You take out all their gas stations, take away all their internal combustion engines, their cars. We take away their highways and streets because that's oil and gas produced. They've been a no-growth city for decades. So they have a lot of open space around them. We fill out the open space with windmills and solar panels, and we see if they can actually run a city of 100,000 people with no fossil fuel infrastructure whatsoever.
I love that idea. And then, Casper, Wyoming could continue to use fossil fuels.
Yeah,
and you could see which.
Exactly.
No, I mean, that's a fantastic idea. Let's have the experiment. Let's have and by the way, the blue states are actually already doing this. The blue states are adopting all these green energy policies. And guess what? On average, your electric utility bill, if you live in a blue state, is about twice as high as it is in a state like Florida or Utah or Tennessee that uses fossil fuels. So if you want this idea that, we can create green energy and it's going to be cheap and affordable. No, it's not. It's twice as expensive. So, and incidentally, I don't know if you read our hotline, but the price of natural gas is now $2. $2. It's cheaper than water. So, and Evian, a bottle of water, a 12-ounce a bottle of water is $2.69, and natural gas is $2. So natural gas is now cheaper than water. Natural gas is clean burning, it's reliable, it's made in America, it's abundant. Why aren't we using natural gas? Why are they against natural gas? It's clean burning fuel.
Well, because they're happy to pay a little bit more for energy in blue states in exchange for this misplaced sense of moral superiority that they enjoy.
That's true, except that it's not just a little bit more; it's a lot more.
That's
and so,
true.
and by the way, if they're willing to do that, that's fine. It's a free country. If you're willing, folks, to pay twice as much for your utility bill to go green, I'm all for it. I just don't want them to tell me in my town, in my city, we're not all Boulder, Colorado.
Indeed.
Right. So, Stephen Moore, inflation dropped below 3% for the first time since 2021. Your reaction?
Yep. Well, prices are still higher, 20% higher today than they were when Biden and Kamala came into office. And if you look at you and I have talked about this a lot, Amy, over the last 3.5 years, that the price of the essentials, the price of groceries, the price of electric power, the price of your mortgage, your rent, your insurance, those are up 25 or 30%. There's also a study that just came out yesterday from one of the Federal Reserve banks that says Americans have record low amounts of savings. They have record high amounts of debt because average Americans can't afford the higher costs because their paychecks have not kept pace with the price of everything else. So inflation is up 20% and incomes are up 17%. So do the math. That means people are running a 3% deficit. And I've been getting so many calls, Dan, from, my Trump people who are Trump fans, and they're so angry about what's going on because they think Trump's going to lose this election because he's not talking enough about the economy. The economy. That's how he's going to win. And to ask the American people, do you think, do you really want 4 more years of this? And if the people say, yeah, this has been worked out so well, we should have 4 more years of it, then Kamala's your woman.
Yeah, no, I think it should be instructive to him that Kamala is trying to present herself as a clean break from the administration she's a part of.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that should be instructive.
Yeah. And by the way, Dan, she has a plan. Did you know she has a plan?
Oh, what's the plan? To avoid the media until election day?
You're going to have to wait until after she's elected. But she has a plan. Not only does she have a plan, on day one, she's going to implement that plan. We're finally going to get inflation under control.
Yeah,
right.
I saw speaking of memes, this is the last one I consume. I'll consume, I promise, because I want to save the planet. But, great meme of a fox standing on a podium speaking to a crowd of sheep and promising that if elected, he'll become a vegetarian. And that's basically the Kamala Harris campaign in a nutshell.
Send that one to me, Dan. I love that.
I will. All right.
And that's actually the problem is, who the sheep are? All of us.
Well,
We're the sheep.
That is the problem.
Hey, Stephen Moore, you're going to be at McHenry County, right? On Sunday?
I am. Are you going to come out there?
I am. But what time are you speaking?
Oh, I can't wait to see you, Amy. That'll be fantastic.
I'll be the tall
We're
blonde.
going to have a lot of fun, and I think we're going to get Trump to zoom in for that. And, we're going to try to – I know Dan's going to roll his eyes. We're going to turn Illinois red.
He's rolling his eyes, Stephen Moore.
I'm not rolling my eyes.
He's laughing out loud,
You're
Stephen
a
Moore.
funny man, Steve Moore. Economist,
I didn't
Godzilla
say
author.
what year we were going to do it. Maybe by the year 2050 we may turn
Yeah.
Illinois red.
All right. I'll tell you, if you could do it in my lifetime, I'd be impressed. All right.
I'm
Well,
ready to go out there. What day is that, Amy? That's
This Sunday. Anybody?
this Sunday. I will
Yeah.
be there.
the 18th.
I'm glad I
We
could
have
tell you
great-
about your schedule.
Yeah. All
There you
right.
go.
Steve Moore will rally the faithful in McHenry County on Sunday. Thanks for rallying the faithful here today. Steve, thanks as always.
Okay, see you guys. Have a great week.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you turning 65 and thinking about Medicare? Or are you over 65 and haven't enrolled yet because you still have coverage at work? Either way, Medicare done correctly